Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan and thank you for joining us for our Friday update for April the 21st. High pressure dominates the weather map at the moment, but don't let it fool you. There's a low pressure zone in the Tasman drifting towards New Zealand this weekend, bringing some heavy rain. And then we've got a cold front coming through on Monday, a significant one for the New Zealand area. Let's take a look and see what is going on. So today's animated wind map shows you the air pressure as well. So the brighter it is, that's more likely to be high pressure. So there's a big area of high pressure out here to the east, high number 1. High number 2 out here, the centre of it coming in towards Adelaide with its anticyclonic flow. And then high number 3 waiting over here in the wings out in the Indian Ocean. But we've got this low pressure zone stuck between these two big highs. That is drifting in this weekend around the lower North Island, Cook Strait area, and does have some heavy rain coming in for tonight, Friday, and across Saturday. Then it starts to ease as it drifts away on Sunday. In the tropics, there's this low pressure zone near the Cook Islands that is slowly moving further away, and some low pressure up towards Samoa, but that's not really an issue. Otherwise, pretty quiet at the moment, especially around Australia, for now anyway. So let's have a look at this rainfall that's coming through from this weak area of low pressure. So central New Zealand around Cook Strait, Mount Taranaki down to about Horowhenua, Kapiti Coast, some parts of Wellington, and a bit of spillover into Wairarapa, and Nelson and the Marlborough Sounds also being clipped by it. So you're talking about anywhere between 40 and about 100 millimetres coming through for you. There might be some higher totals in the mountains and ranges. So please do keep up to date with the Met Service warnings and watches. Not very much in the way of rain for South Canterbury, if anything at all, and some parts of North Otago. And also not a lot of rain coming for the northern parts of Auckland or the northern parts of Hawke's Bay. So let's have a look at Saturday. This is around lunchtime on Saturday. You can see here, there's the leftovers of that rain band, the low pressure zone stuck here around the lower North Island. So with the air pressure down a little bit and the warmer than average weather we've got, during the afternoon, that increases the risk of afternoon downpours and thunderstorms. Now that can go above and beyond what is forecast for you. So that risk for the top of the country in particular, about a low to moderate risk as we go through Saturday afternoon. Pretty dry over in Australia with that big high crossing over. Sydney's got a few showers, and those showers increase the further you go up the coastline towards Brisbane. And in fact, there are a few more further up there north of Cairns as well. On Sunday, you can see the bigger picture here with these showers going all the way up. So they get kind of heavier, progressively heavier the further north you go, and lighter and shorter the further south you go. That high is quite a big one coming through, so fairly settled for that southeastern corner of Australia and fairly mild over here, or fairly hot with those northerlies coming in. For New Zealand on Sunday, not too bad, but the first time in days, or first time in a week and a half, that the top of the country doesn't have a blowing east to northeast wind. It turns around to a sou'wester or even a southerly. It won't be very strong, but you can see down here, here's the next low pressure zone. All those isobars, all the lines on the map being squashed together, that's a sign of very strong winds. So we switch to a wind map here. This is for Sunday evening, 7 o'clock in the evening. You can see in the purple shading, you're getting up to gale force. Severe gale, I mean, and in fact, even beyond that, getting up towards hurricane force down here in the Southern Ocean. That's kind of normal, but it's been a while since we've had some really windy weather coming in across the country that could cause a few problems. So the wind gusts here between 100 and 130 kilometres an hour. That is offshore when this map is taken, but clearly it'll be moving up the South Island, and it usually then starts to fall apart as it does so. So when we take a look at Monday, you can see the winds have actually eased around the South Island by lunchtime. So it'll be a windy Sunday night. And as that front comes through, the cold front, be a bit squally maybe. And then as we go through Monday, colder air, but the worst of the winds move further up the country. And now we've got pretty windy conditions around the North Island, blustery, maybe gale force in exposed areas, and much colder than it's been. Snow on the mountains and ranges of both islands, but especially the South Island. And over here in Australia, you're wondering what we're talking about because there's not much going on. Still the southeasterlies and a few showers, probably becoming a bit annoying for Sydney because it's sort of not really giving you a break from it. So take a look at the temperatures here. We go to ruralweather.co.nz, take a look at Dunedin. So go through the weekend with highs of 17 and 18. Monday, the high is just 8 degrees, the same as the overnight low on Saturday. So that shows you, as you can see the temperature graphs here, it flattens right out on Monday and Monday night. Then it starts to lift back up again, a bit more warmth. So it's very short-lived. Only Monday is the really cold day, and then you get some cooler nights later into the week as that high pressure zone moves just a little bit closer to us. And that's the one I'm talking about. But on Tuesday, because it's windy, and again, we could be seeing gales and severe gales, true proper autumn weather finally waking up, that will stop frost and will stop the temperatures dropping too far down towards that 0 degree mark. Not a lot of wet weather in the North Island, but that sou'wester blowing through and the easterlies carry on for Eastern Australia. No break for you in that at the moment. And then we've got this low here coming in with a southerly, which you'll feel a bit more on Wednesday in Perth. The temperatures dropping there for you. But also you can see there's the next high coming out of the Indian Ocean. There's a good series of them at the moment. And so in between each high, that's where you get the highest chance of some low pressure, if that makes sense. So we've got high pressure here on Wednesday next week. There's the next surge of cooler weather for New Zealand. Sou'westers again nationwide. We were forecasting this about 2 weeks ago. So we're seeing it here again, another surge of cooler weather. So Monday and then again around Wednesday, Thursday, New Zealand has 2 pulses of cold air out of the Southern Ocean. Other feature to keep an eye on in our last map here for Thursday of next week. This low could end up deepening. Technically, the cyclone season doesn't finish until April the 30th. Now, this is not forecast to become a tropical cyclone, but it does show you that the energy in the tropics is still there as we go in towards May. So that's not overly unusual, but it will encourage more easterlies for Eastern Australia. It still feels like La Nina, to be honest, but that's typical for a neutral season where we can get a bit of both, sort of La Nina-esque and El Nino. So that low is one to keep an eye on. It might drift down behind this high and bring more subtropical air to New Zealand going into May. That is not locked in. That's just my feeling at the moment. Worth keeping an eye on that one. But look at this in Australia, big windy nor'westers. So it'll be warm for many places as we go through the end of next week in Australia anyway. That is all from me. We'll see you again on Monday. We'll update you on the cold blast. And for more details between now and then, please visit our website, weatherwatch.co.nz. We will see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.